Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon to our friends across the pond. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. I am joined by Hans Albrecht, our head of Turbo Income and senior and director of income trading here at Option Pit. Good morning, Hans. Happy Monday.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, welcome to the Ticker Highlight Show. I want to remind you, we're here every Monday with a free pick for you guys. And I'd like to just remind you guys what that means for you. In the last, here's what our trading record looks like since May. 139%, 158%, 68%, 107%, 28, 42, flat, 59, 16, 125. We lost 87% on Apple. 65%, 134%, 87%. We've missed once since we've converted to this format that we're doing right now. I'm not kidding you guys. So again, I'd love to welcome you and good to see you guys. So just the normal format for this show is it would be myself and Hans, along with Leisha and Andrew. Andrew is on vacation. Leisha is on vacation. So we're doing something a little different. Now, there was a huge, and I mean massive promo that was promos, insider industry talk for promotion. Now, promotions are, we do promos, other people do promos, but I want to kind of explain to you why we're different here and what makes us so special. And you heard me rattle off those trades. And I'm going to, Hans and I are going to talk about this in a second, but I think the big thing that differentiates us from everybody else in the business is that we're actively trading this stuff. We're not just throwing out recommendations and saying good luck. Hans and I are doing every single trade that we throw out there. So when Hans is trying to make you money, he's trying to make himself money. So our interests are aligned. And when you are trading your own money, and Hans, stop me if you think I'm telling tales outside of school. When you're actually trading and actually involved in this, it forces you to stay ahead and improve and to build. Hans initially didn't build the MTI. Hans, stop me again. He didn't build MTI, the market temperature indicator, because he was looking for something to sell to you. He built it because he wanted help in his own trading. Wouldn't you say that, Hans? MTI really started from, you've been working on it for how long? You've been working on MTI?
I mean, really, my whole career, 3 decades, right? Because I came into the business. Eventually, I was a fund manager on the options side, but I came in with that market maker background. So that basically like a quantitative background. I did volatility arbitrage essentially for so many years. So, and I saw that people weren't looking at things the right way. And so over the years, I've kind of infused my methods with all the most important things, right? And so when you get a good indicator, what you're really doing is you can go out and watch a YouTube video and get some of the science of trading, right? There's art and science. The art you come by through getting bruised and hit and successes and failures. And over time, you get more of the art. Now, when you follow pros like we have at Option Pit, you can absorb some of that art, and you can compress that time span that you need to learn that part. And then when you get an indicator that includes everything that Mark has learned about markets or everything that I've learned about markets that works, well, now you've got the art put right into a nice little package. And I think that's an amazing thing. If you get it from the right person, if it's from some guy on YouTube whose, cousin gave him a slingshot strategy that, that's a different thing. But when you've got it from guys and gals like us, it's pretty solid stuff.
Absolutely. And so everything we do here starts with us trying to make ourselves money. And then we sit down with Hannah and she helps sculpt our strategy into something that falls under CRT, which stands for consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. And then by the time we've got MTI or Alpha AI, and then we've worked with Hannah for a month or two, making it something that's digestible to everybody, that is when we release an indicator like MTI or a trading system like Alpha AI. So where am I going with this? Well, you heard me at the top of the show. Big, huge industry-wide promo. And they were pushing one stock. And when we saw what stock it was here, and folks, I'm going to tell you the name of this stock here in just about a second. We went, oh my goodness. Because we'd been trading it for about 2 years, since it went public. And two of Option Pit's owners were the initial investment bankers for the stock. So when we saw that, we went, oh, we know that name real well. And that stock is USAR, USA Rare Earth. You can see it's down $1.62 today, call it almost 10%. But this is a stock that's been on our radar since they went public in March of this year. And it's been on our radar. We've been waiting for this one to go public for the prior, 18 months prior to that, because Frank Gregory, who works here, who we've talked to a lot, he was one of the initial investment bankers. He sat down with the owner going on 5 years ago over a glass of bourbon, and the initial owner of the mine was explaining to Frank the situation, and Frank started work with him to develop a solution which eventually became USAR. And USAR is going to be a mine to magnet company. And what does that mean? Hans, you got a phone? You do.
I finally got one.
Yes.
The last to
Hans,
get one.
are you on a computer?
I am.
All right.
Is that what this thing is called?
Yeah, it is. It's a CPU.
It's on the interweb. I'm on the interweb as well. My mom showed me how to do it.
Nice. And you're not even using dial-up. Um, everything you're interacting with that is a technology is going to have these rare earth magnets in them. They're required. They're necessary. This doesn't operate without a rare earth magnet. My computer doesn't operate without a rare earth magnet. So what USAR is doing, and this is going to be the first mine-to-magnet company in the United States, MP Materials is trying to do the same thing. They're going to have a mine where they're pulling the rare earth. They're going to send it to Denver for refining. And then it will go to Oklahoma to be built into the magnets that we need here in the United States for all of our technology. The magnet factory is working. The refining in Denver is up and going. And they're about to start mining in the next, hopefully, year. Opening a mine takes some time, folks. So when these big experts are telling me and Hans, you should be in USA Rare Earth, we say we've been in this one for years. All right. If I showed you my track record, I've got a lot of trades in USAR. So does Andrew and Frank, obviously. I believe they're currently in one in USAR in capital gains.
This stuff is massive, Mark. I think one thing that people have to wrap their heads around is how big this build out is going to be. This sort of AI inference build out that we talk about all the time, right? This usability of AI, as opposed to just like, wow, NVIDIA is buying a lot of, selling a lot of GPUs. This is where it becomes important. And so behind that theme is this fundamental problem that we're going to have problems with power. We're not going to have enough power. The grid is old. We're not going to have enough of certain elements. And rare earths are critically important. A stock from today to tomorrow to Friday, not sure. It could go up, it could go down. But when you have that fundamental basis, what do we need? We need data centers, rare earths. We need cooling systems because these things run hot as hell. You need cooling systems. And this is all part of chip fabrication, right? We need miniaturization, as Mark showed you his phone. That as AI moves to the edge, meaning sensors all around us, AI in our pockets, all these things, your toaster, your toothbrush, rare earths are critical. There aren't enough of them. They're controlled. Tell me if this is true or not, Mark. They're controlled by China mostly. So they are going to be the government is going to be very supportive of anything that is on our side of the pond. And make no mistake, this is an unbelievably important trend, and there aren't many stocks that play it.
No, and there are certainly not a lot that are USA based. This is going to be backed. Now, the hilarious thing, Hans, so you and I have been aware of this along with Frank and Andrew. We've been watching these rare earth stocks for a couple of years and been paying very close attention since MP and USAR really became front and center. USAR in particular, since they went public. Now, this huge promo that they did, they charged $2,000 for that promo to tell you something that we are talking about for free right now. It kind of insults my intelligence, frankly. Now, do I agree with them that USAR is a good company? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I agree with them that there is tremendous upside in USAR? I think there is. I don't know. Hans, what do you think? I do. I think there's huge upside. Massive. Hans, what do you see? Massive.
Look at, the market cap of this thing is, I think there's massive potential here, like absolutely massive.
It's right now it's worth $1.6 billion. Yeah. This will be $100 billion company if they can execute the mine.
Yeah. What's MP worth, Mark? MP
Materials is worth 13 $13 billion.
Yeah.
So even if USAR gets to be half the size of MP, we're talking about a quintupling of the stock. So yeah, there is tremendous upside in USAR. But I am not going to, Hans and I are not going to charge you $2,000 to know that USAR has huge upside. We're just going to give you it. And when I look at USAR and I'm looking at it fundamentally, again, big upside, not making money yet, but they will. And you can see what the general trend in this stock has been since it kind of IPO'd. So it IPO'd initially, as a lot of SPACs do, gets a pop, drops a little bit, finds its spot. And then what do you notice? It's kind of had these ebbs and flows, but has consistently been going up. Its last peak was over 20. It was almost $20. Previous peak was about 17. Previous peak about 15. Back here, you got a run to another run to about 15. And these lows have been lower as well. So what I'm looking at now is we just had a nice run. We had earnings. MP is down about $4 itself, call it 5%, 6%. USAR is down almost 10. So this is a golden opportunity to start accumulating a position. In addition, this red line represents option prices, and it's still 100% volatility, 100% on those option prices, but it is the cheapest that it's been since they listed.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad for that potential. I did notice that the other day. It's funny you're bringing that up. It's even some of the longer term vols aren't option prices aren't too bad. So they're not really. That's the interesting thing with Option Pit. We're kind of digging for those diamonds out there, and I'm seeing a lot of interesting names that aren't really priced for big explosive upsides. And this is one of them, I would say.
Yeah, and the movement has actually been exceeding the cost of options, which is another reason we like the name. When the 100% on option prices is high relative to kind of the whole option universe. So if we were looking at other companies, Apple's option prices are going to be 20, not 100. But 100 is is high for an option price, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily expensive. So Hans, what would you rather do? All right. Would you rather pay $25,000 for a $25,000 Toyota Camry, or would you rather pay $50,000 for a $90,000 Corvette?
Does the Camry come with any kind of is it pimped out at all? Does it have
No, it is as basic as it comes.
A standard Camry, okay? Because I was
super standard. Doesn't have any bells and whistles on it. It still has the old roll windows. It's so basic.
Old school. Well, they don't break as easily, right? I like that.
Yeah.
That's a plus for me. So now you're selling me on the Camry. No, of course I'd rather go for the other one.
Yeah, the Vet, right. So if I'm paying $50,000 for a $90,000 automobile, that is, yes, I'm paying more, but I'm making a better purchase from a value perspective. And so the same holds true. If these option prices are 20 and movement is 20, then that's not, and when we say movement, we mean something like realized volatility or ATR. So Hans, if a 20 vol stock is moving at 18%, so if the option price is 20 and it's moving at 18, is that a trade that we're looking to make?
Well, that's the thing, Mark. I think that's one of the things that gets kind of confusing to folks. And the volatility world works in multiple dimensions. And so sometimes I tell people, well, a VIX 15 is expensive, but sometimes a VIX 25 is cheap. And they're like, huh? That doesn't make any sense, right? Because there are all these other things. This realized volatility. How much is it moving? So these are important considerations for sure.
Absolutely. So when I look at USAR with option prices of 100, but I see that 10-day movement is 150 and 20-day movement is 130.
Cheap.
It is cheap. I'm paying 50 grand for that $90,000 Corvette, and don't you dare besmirch Corvettes, Rise. The horsepower per dollar on a Corvette is the absolute best you can get.
They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah, there's nothing you can spend at anything with that kind of an engine on any other car is going to cost you 4x. And like you buy a Ferrari with the same horsepower, you're paying an extra $150,000, and Ferraris are even less reliable than a Vet. So, Matt Mann says the Tesla Plaid is the best HP for $1. Matt, Teslas don't have horsepower. Electric cars do not have horsepower. They have torque. They do not have horsepower.
They run on Beanie Babies and marshmallows, I think.
So the thing about, if you watch, and I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, but if you watch a super souped up supercar versus like a Plaid, in a quarter mile, Plaid will beat it, but in a 1 mile race, the supercar is going to beat it with the engine because it has horsepower. The electric cars have constant acceleration, and gas-powered combustion engines actually, as they hit their certain level, they actually have a hockey stick type of acceleration.
They're like Usain Bolt. They're kind of maybe a little slower off the line, but then he just bolts.
Yes. So before I go down a car rabbit hole, which I can easily do, getting back, the point of this whole discussion is that cars, like options, there is value. All right. It's not just the cost of the car, it's the value. And USAR options, USAR options are not expensive. And this is a stock we like. And earnings aren't until November. So I want to do kind of a longer term play, and I'm going to do it a little differently. One of the fun things about hard to borrow stocks, and this is one of the things I like when we were talking about Alpha AI, is that hard to borrow means that if I want to short this stock, it costs me money. I have to pay. So right now, the borrow on USAR is 26% per year.
Wow.
So if I short it at $15 over the course of a year, I will have paid about $4 in interest to be short. So when that happens, traders generally, that's going to boost put prices and it's going to decrease call option prices. So what one of the fun things is that we can actually go in and buy kind of a slightly in the money call and do really well owning it. So where I'm going to go with USAR is I'm going to give you kind of a stock idea using options instead of just straight options. And that's because the calls, due to some of the mechanics behind hard to borrow stocks, and I'm not going to dig too deep into it, are going to make these calls inexpensive. So what I want to do is I'm looking to buy to open the October 14 calls, and I want to pay about $3.10. I'm going to put this into our. What do you think of that one, Hans? Or do you like out of the money better, or in a perfect world where we would do like a spread? But I actually think you want to go slightly in the money here with the stock being hard to borrow.
I like that the stocks come off. I think it's giving us a bit of a gift here, and the vol is not really pumping. The option pricing, when I say vol, isn't really pumping higher. So, no, I like that play, Mark. I like that play.
All right, there you go. So I'm going to drop this in to our thing, and then don't worry, and folks, I am going to be buying some of these just as an FYI. When we put out a trade here at Option Pit, we have a mandatory 5-minute cooldown period where we're not allowed to trade it so that everybody else can get in. So essentially our own customers front run me and Hans constantly. And yes, it does drive us nuts sometimes, but it's about what's best for you guys, not what's best for me and Hans. Now, here's the fun part, guys. Again, these guys, these promo people charge you $25,000 or $2,000 for a stock pick that I just gave you from Frank, and well, me and Hans as well. But initially, Frank's idea. We're giving this to you for free. And by the way, Frank just issued another stock, and this time it's in lithium. Many of you are already members of Special Situations, but if you're not and you'd like to see the stock, it's $49 for a month, and we give you other trades too. Just reminding you, Special Situations is something that Hans trades in, I trade in, my whole company does. Anytime we have something that is that we believe is consistently profitable and teachable, but maybe not repeatable, it goes into Special Situations. So the last one I ran was I closed 4 out of 5 post-earnings winners. I've got a couple more coming, actually. But I did 50% in Tesla, 58% in Intel, 93% in Amazon. I have one more in here. I did 59% in Google, and I lost on IBM. Hans just closed a trade in NBIS for a 90% win. He closed a nice winner in Palantir. And I have a trade coming in Walmart, NVIDIA, and in Broadcom over the next 3 weeks. Plus, you get access to Frank's lithium stock that myself, Frank, we all believe this stock is inexpensive, less than $5, and we think the upside is 20. So
yeah, the Palantir, I think, was maybe 128%. So that
it was a nice win. We've had 150% and 145% in Amazon, 100% in U.S. Steel. We did the U.S. Steel trade, BP, Apple. Now we have losers as well. Like I said, I lost in IBM, lost in Paychex. But we, by and large, are here to make you guys some dough. So for $49, not $2,000, you can get access to our, Frank's next big trade. And folks, I am publishing the USAR trade right here. And I am on top of, and so if you'd like to join us in Special Situations, get access to all these great trades. It's $9, not 2,000. I would invite you to join. Hello, everybody. It is 10:30 Eastern Time, which means we are turning into a pumpkin. But again, don't spend $2,000 to look at USAR. Join a real company that's actually trading this stuff and is actually involved, where their trading is aligned with you. And that's me. All right, everybody. For Hans Albrecht, our Imperial Overlord of Income, I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. And we want to thank you for joining us for the Ticker Highlight Show. Reminder, we're here every morning at 10 a.m. to guide you through these markets at no cost every single day. So if this is your first show, welcome. And we look forward to trading with you guys tomorrow. All right, folks. Like I said, I'm Mark Sebastian, your only option. I hope you have a great trading week. We'll see you guys.